Welcome back to my 1000 subscriber special, Redoing and Improving Super Megaforce Part 4. In case you missed any of the previous parts, this is a 40 episode long single season adaptation of Gokaiger, assuming Goseiger got adapted as something completely different. In the previous part, I went over a few tribute episodes, a couple of which they did, but I redid them, and a couple of which they should have done. For this episode, I will be going over some more tribute episodes, but first, it's time we improve a certain character that really needed character development.
As I stated in part 1, Orion was a waste of a character. As I was writing this part of the script to think about how I would change his character, I realized he didn't really do much. So it doesn't really matter how I alter Orion. Something is better than nothing. I did have a couple of ideas about altering his origin story. One included Orion being a Superman type of thing, where he was sent to Earth in an escape pod at a young age, while the Armada was destroying his planet. And another involved Orion being taken prisoner on an Armada ship, and when he escaped, he stole the Morpher and Spear from an Armada treasure room. But I decided to keep his backstory mostly the same with slight alterations, since Orion had an amazing backstory, but really didn't go anywhere after that. To those who haven't seen Gokaiger, the Sliver Ranger was an obsessive Sentai fanboy that served as a subtle mentor to the team. I really wanted Orion to be something similar, somebody that knew a lot about Power Rangers to educate the team on the legendary Rangers. Come to think of it, how did Orion know about Power Rangers at all? Does Andrasia have their own legacy of Power Rangers? Like most things in Super Megaforce, it's never explained. Another thing that bothered me was before Orion was revealed as the Sliver Ranger, his face was kept hidden from the audience. What was the point of that? By hiding Orion's face and building it up, I thought it was going to be a previous Ranger or someone from previous episodes. But nope, the build-up was completely worthless when it was a brand new character. I would have Orion study Power Rangers that come from Earth, but his friends think it's a waste of time, as they think Power Rangers are just a myth. Until one day where he finds the Sliver Ranger Morpher and Key covered in stone. One night he has a nightmare where he sees the MMPR Green Ranger, the Time Force Quantum Ranger, and the Dino Thunder White Ranger in his dream. Since he has an extensive knowledge of the Power Rangers on Earth, they believe he is worthy to be granted the power of all previous 6th Rangers. He wakes up in the middle of the night and notices something shining under his bed. It's the Sliver Ranger Morpher, as it looks good as new. One day while he's at the mine, the Armada attacks, and one of the prince's henchmen takes notice of Orion's Morpher. I was going to give him a Power Ranger's name, but you know who I'm talking about. It's Bosco. At long last, I finally found it. What are you talking about? Bosco pulls out a bag filled with the 6th Ranger keys. I stole all these keys from Earth, and I've been looking all over the galaxy for that Morpher. You'll never get away with this. The Armada already has. Bosco pulls out a trumpet and inserts 5 6th Ranger keys and summons copies of 6th Rangers. The copies fight Orion, but Orion can surprisingly hold his own and is able to steal the Super Megaforce Sliver Ranger key before Bosco can get away. After the fight, Orion follows Bosco and sneaks onto his ship without Bosco noticing. Orion takes an escape pod to Earth to help out the Rangers of Earth against the Armada. After he lands on Earth, he watches the Super Mega Rangers fight monsters from a distance. The Armada sends Bosco to Earth to infiltrate the Rangers' lives. The Emperor gives Bosco a human form to get close to the Rangers, and he poses as a new student to the school. While that's going on, the Rangers keep receiving intruder alerts from the power chamber's security system, but the intruder always gets away before the Rangers could get there. The Rangers then get the idea to camp out in the power chamber using the stealth techniques of the Alien and Ninja Storm Rangers. One night, the Rangers catch the intruder, who turns out to be Orion. The Rangers then receive a monster alert, and Gosei and Billy keep Orion in the command center. While at the monster fight, the Rangers see Bosco in his human form and warn him to get to safety, but Bosco reveals his monster form. Back at the command center, Orion tells Gosei, Bosco is too strong for the Rangers to handle. You have to let me help them. After the cut to commercial break, Orion comes charging into the fight while the other Rangers are lying on the ground demorphed. Orion then pulls out his morpher and morphs for the first time. He fights Bosco one-on-one, but Bosco teleports away. After the fight, it cuts back to the power chamber with the Rangers asking, "If you were a good guy, why were you constantly breaking into the power chamber?" Since the Silver Ranger powers came from Andresia, Orion wasn't sure if the morphing grid on Earth had the Silver Ranger powers, so he broke into the power chamber to install the Silver Ranger powers into the morphing grid. After Orion joins the team, Orion and Bosco have a constant rivalry. Having a rival will give Orion at least some kind of development, and this isn't just some butting heads, I'm better than you rivalry. Orion wants to fight Bosco in order to avenge Andresia. In another episode, Orion takes back all the 6th Ranger keys Bosco stole, and as a reward, the power of the morphing grid will fuse all the 6th Ranger keys into the Gold Mode key. When Squall Charleston did his video about adapting Go Busters, he talked about misdirection being used as an interesting method of storytelling, and that is what I went with here. Bosco working with the Armada wouldn't be revealed until later in the episode, and by having Orion be the intruder to the power chamber, it will come as a massive surprise to both the Rangers and the audience when the hero is a villain and the villain is a hero. I would even throw in a line about how Orion could be a monster disguised as a human, so the line is funny when Bosco reveals himself as a monster in disguise. Power Rangers, go! Why a Time Force tribute? Time Force is considered by many fans to be the best season of Power Rangers, but the only Time Force representation in Super Megaforce was Emma using Time Force Pink a couple of times, and Wes showing up helmetless in the legendary battle. Also, the Q-Rex Zord is a tribute to Time Force, so it makes sense to introduce the Q-Rex in a Time Force tribute episode. Also, I didn't know what to do for a Time Force tribute episode, so special thanks to Movie Critic for helping me write this part of the script. With the concept of time travel, he came up with the idea of adapting Gokaiger's brief appearance in Goseiger vs. Shinkenger and expanding that into a full episode. To those who don't know, Super Sentai crossovers have been a tradition since the mid-90s, but the last proper crossover, at least to me, was 4 years ago with Zyuohger vs. Ninninger. And no, I'm not counting Lupat vs. Q-Ranger since that was direct to DVD. A more recent tradition, starting in early 2010 and has been a yearly tradition up until a few years ago, was the next team making a brief cameo. It started with Goseiger, and every team since, with the exception of Lupat, Ryusoulger, Kiramager, and I'm assuming Zenkaiger, as of the time of me recording this, Zenkaiger hasn't started yet, has followed the tradition. Ooh, a letter! Oh, I didn't know that. So, I just received a note that this episode was taking stock footage from Gokaiger's brief appearance in Goseiger vs. Shinkenger, but what I forgot to mention was that Critic was also adapting the 40th episode of Gokaiger, which had the Rangers going back in time to 2011 during Goseiger vs. Shinkenger, thus explaining their cameo. Ironically enough, this was also their Time Ranger tribute episode, so don't leave comments saying that I forgot Gokaiger had a Time Ranger tribute episode when coming up with the Time Force tribute. As I said in part 1, I have not seen the majority of Gokaiger, so Critic adapted that part as well and made it into an introduction to Orion Zord, the Q-Rex Zord. Alright, enough with the chit-chat. Let's get to the Time Force episode. After being a Ranger for a while now, Orion is bummed that he is missing out on Zord fights and asks Gosei why he hasn't gotten his own Zord yet. Gosei reveals to Orion that he does have a Zord, but it isn't ready yet. Gosei has been in contact with the Time Force Rangers in the year 3014. For 14 years, the Time Force Rangers have been working on upgrading the Q-Rex Zord to take on the Armada. Meanwhile, the Armada uses their portal machine from the SPD tribute episode to revive Rotox, a villain the Angel Force Rangers fought. They request Rotox to go back in time and destroy the creator of the power coins, Ninjor. The current team gets visited by Jen, who tells them that the future is changing, and how a villain from the previous team, Angel Force, destroyed the Temple of Ninjor in 2012, along with Octoroo, who has escaped the Netherworld and helped Rotox. So the Rangers go back to 2012, along with Orion, and the team arrives at the temple to see a kid almost getting attacked by Moogers, and Orion steps in to save the kid, while the other Rangers follow the Moogers. While the Rangers are chasing the Moogers, they see the Samurai and Angel Force Rangers about ready to fight a big army of Moogers and Loogies. They see that Octoroo is about to plan an attack on the temple, so the Super Mega Rangers decide to finish Octoroo once and for all. They fight the grunts that were with him, and they all go red. They destroy Octoroo as they try to reunite with Orion. Orion is trying to lead the kid to safety when Rotox shows up. Orion decides to take on Rotox as he goes Samurai Gold and Zeo Ranger Gold, but is knocked back. The other Rangers show up and they do a tribute morph to Time Force, including Orion. They destroy Rotox as one of the generals from Angel Force revives him using Zombats and he grows giant. Jen calls Orion, saying how proud she is of Orion's determination to save mankind, so she rewards him with the Q-Rex Zord from 3014 as it was finally upgraded. They send it back to 2012 as Orion jumps in and takes it for a test drive. Orion uses the Quantum Ranger key to activate the Q-Rex's drill mode, and to gain more power, Orion uses the MMPR Green Ranger key to unlock its Dino mode, and finishes off the monster using the Dino Thunder White key to activate the Q-Rex Megazord mode. After the Megazord fight, the Rangers return to their time period, now having the Q-Rex in their arsenal. Throughout this episode, Jake keeps leaving in the middle of soccer practice due to monster attacks. His team has been noticing that Jake has been late for and been cutting practice a lot lately. Guys, I'm the star player of the soccer team. Who cares if I miss a few practices? A few? You've missed 7 in a row, and we lost 2 games because you didn't show up. If you're not careful, Coach is going to kick you off the team. Coach is not going to kick me off the team. A shadow figure walks up behind Jake in the background. Hey Holling, can I talk to you for a moment? Jake walks up to his coach, and it's revealed to be Connor, because who else could it be? Connor tells Jake that if he keeps cutting practice, he's going to have to kick him off the team. So the next day, he decides to commit fully to soccer, but at the end of practice, he notices an alert on his communicator and rushes down to the power chamber. Gosei, is there a monster attack? There was a monster attack. Jake turns to his left and sees the other 5 Rangers bruised and worn down from a monster fight. What happened to you guys? What happened was there was a monster attack and you weren't there to help us out. Since it was just the 5 of us, the monster kicked our butts. We could have used you. If you were there, none of this would have happened. I'm sorry, I was at soccer practice. I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure protecting the world is more important than soccer. Troy walks over angrily to Jake as if he's going to beat him up, but Orion intervenes. Troy, relax. I've studied Power Rangers on Andresia, and a lot of them have gone through what Jake's going through. Orion is right. Many Rangers have struggled to have a normal life, while also keeping their secret identity. Time Force, Ninja Storm, Mystic Force, Jungle Fury, all these teams struggled with their identities as Rangers. And Jake's soccer coach is one of them. What are you talking about? Your coach is Connor McKnight, the Red Ranger of the Dino Thunder Rangers. The next day, Jake walks up to his soccer coach during practice and tells him that he's quitting the team because he has more important things to take care of in his life. Jake then gets a message on his communicator about a monster attack, and Connor understands Jake's decision and lets him continue being a Ranger. Jake rushes into the fight and morphs. Little did he know, Connor followed him. Connor watches the fight from a distance as the Rangers do a tribute morph to Dino Thunder with original footage of Emma staying in her super mode because, trust me, I do not want to see that Pig Ranger or whatever the hell that was in Power Rangers. I haven't seen Abba Ranger, so I don't know what the hell that was. And the Rangers finish off the monster with the Z-Rex Blaster in its super mode. After the monster grows and the Rangers form their Megazords, to reward the Rangers for mastering the Dino Thunder powers, Connor uses his worn-down Morpher to transfer Morphing Grid energy into the Dino Thunder keys, giving the Super Mega Rangers the ability to combine the legendary Megazord with the Q-Rex. With the combined Megazord, they easily defeat the monster, and Jake goes back to Connor to thank him for all his hard work. A superhero struggling to balance having a regular life with their secret identity, or Spider-Man syndrome as I like to call it, is nothing new, but Power Rangers doesn't do a lot of episodes like this, and even when they do, there's usually no consequences at stake. It really bothered me that there was an episode that introduced a Zord that was a tribute to Ninja Storm, when the episode itself had nothing to do with Ninja Storm. None of the Rangers even morph into a Ranger from Ninja Storm. What makes it even more frustrating is that Gokaiger's tribute to Hurricaneger was a straight-up crossover. It's not just one Ranger, it's the whole team, or at least the primary three, and they don't just stand around and give the current team advice. No, they get out there and fight alongside the team morphed. Also, there's a Ninja Storm tribute Zord that looks almost identical to Mini-Zord, and to those wondering, it is Mini-Zord. Or at least in Gokaiger it was. A Zord that's supposed to be an upgrade to a previous Zord from a previous season, and they don't reference it. If they can do that for the Wild Force Lion, they can do it for Mini-Zord. Anyway, in my tribute episode to Ninja Storm during a monster attack, the monster takes a civilian hostage. The Rangers save him from one of the monster's attacks, and the civilian gets somewhere safe and watches the fight from a distance. In case you haven't picked up on it by now, the civilian is Cam. The Rangers use Ninja Storm to finish off the X-Borgs, and the monster retreats. Cam rushes up to the Rangers after they demorphed. Are you serious? I can't believe Gosei picked you 6 amateurs to be Rangers. That's an odd way of saying thank you for saving my life. You 6 clearly know nothing about being a Ranger. You can't even use the Ninja Storm powers properly. You know about Ninja Storm? I don't just know about it, I'm part of it. I can't believe it. You're Cam Watanabe, the Ninja Storm Green Samurai Ranger. Cam uses his morpher to summon his Samurai Star Chopper. I'd love to stay and chat, but I gotta get going. Troy then stops Cam. Wait, how do we master the powers of Ninja Storm? I can't teach you, but I have a few friends that can. If you really want to know, get on my Zord and I'll take you there. The other Rangers climb aboard the Samurai Star Chopper, and Cam flies them to the Wind Ninja Academy. When they arrive, the academy is in ruins from an Armada attack. You're probably wondering how Cam still has his Samurai Star Chopper if all the Rangers lost their powers after the Legend War. In case the Armada were to return and Gosei didn't have a Ranger team ready, Gosei let a few teams keep their powers. Ninja Storm was one of them. Cam shows the Rangers ninja ops and introduces them to the Wind Rangers. The other Wind Rangers, just like Cam, are unimpressed, but Shane sees potential in them, and the Wind Rangers offer to teach them how to master the Ninja Storm powers. Throughout the episode, the Wind Rangers train the Super Mega Rangers unmorphed, offering unique unmorphed fights, and the Wind Rangers acting as mentor figures to the Super Mega Rangers. After the Rangers complete their training, they get a call from Gosei that the monster from earlier in the episode has returned. Troy summons the skyship, and the Wind Rangers tag along. Both teams of Rangers do a team-up morph and fight the monster. The Super Mega Rangers finish off the monster with a tribute morph to Ninja Storm after the monster grows giant, and the Rangers form the legendary Megazord. I was wrong about you, Rangers. As a reward for mastering the Ninja Storm powers, I used Gosei's Morphing Grid energy to give you Rangers a little gift, courtesy of the Wind Ninja Academy. The legendary Ninja Storm Zord teleports in. Cam, is that Mini-Zord? Yep, I upgraded Mini-Zord by fusing Mini-Zord with my Samurai Star Chopper. He may be the same Mini-Zord, but he's got some new moves. Mini-Zord fights the giant monster by throwing giant throwing stars. And that's not all. Rangers, want to try out one of Mini-Zord's new abilities? Don't mind if we do. Using the Ninja Storm keys, the Super Mega Rangers use Mini-Zord to form the legendary Ninja Storm Megazord. After the Megazord fight, the Wind Rangers congratulate the Super Mega Rangers and tell them to keep Mini-Zord since they'll need Mini-Zord to fight the Armada. Get in gear! Gosei receives a message from Dr. K in the RPM dimension. In case the Armada were to return, Dr. K and the RPM Rangers fuse the Morphing Grid DNA of the Eagle Racer and Bear Crawler Zords into the brand new Turbo Falcon Zord. In case you haven't seen Gokaiger, the Turbo Falcon Zord was the son of the Red and Yellow Ranger Zords. I have no idea how that works. but it's best not to think about it. The Armada traveled to the RPM dimension and revived Venjix and put his conscience in an all-new body. The Armada uploaded a virus into the Turbo Falcon Zord to make it work for the Armada, and has been causing rampage throughout Corinth. Dr. K hopes by sending the Super Mega Rangers to the RPM dimension and using the RPM Ranger keys will restore the Turbo Falcon Zord to the side of good. But before the Super Mega Rangers can go to the RPM dimension, they must master the powers of the RPM Ranger keys. So Dr. K uses the Power Chamber portal to send Ziggy and Dylan to train the Super Mega Rangers to use the powers of RPM. The Rangers use the RPM Ranger keys in their Zords to unlock a portal to Corinth. In the actual episode, we're told it's Corinth, but like a lot of things in Super Megaforce, we're never told why it looks so different. Yeah, I know, it's the Sentai footage they had to work with, but the thing is, this is a very easy fix. Since the RPM finale ended with a message of hope, just throw in a line that Corinth has been cleaned up ever since they defeated Venjix. And since Venjix is no longer a threat, Corinth has been technologically renovated. Anyway, the Rangers use their Zords to chase down the Turbo Falcon Zord. They use every legendary Zord they have to slow it down, along with Ziggy and Dylan using some of their own RPM powers to help. Doesn't that sound a lot more interesting than...
Hey, Turbo Falcon! Stop! You're, going over the speed limit!
Whatever that was. After they use up everything they got, Troy, Ziggy, and Dylan contact Dr. K to figure out how to tame the Turbo Falcon Zord. Nothing we're doing is working. The Rangers have used every power and Zord they have, and it's still not enough to stop the Turbo Falcon. Doc, what are we doing wrong? The virus installed keeps getting stronger. There's no way you can possibly stop it. What makes you say that? Because I installed the virus. Dr. K then does an evil laugh and then shapeshifts and reveals herself to be Venjix in his new body.
What a twist!
Yup, Dr. K in this episode was Venjix the whole time. When the Armada gave Venjix a new body, they gave his new body the ability to disguise himself as anyone. Venjix installed a virus into the Turbo Falcon Zord, kidnapped the real Dr. K, and sent out a fake distress call to Gosei to trap the Super Mega Rangers in the RPM dimension so the Armada could conquer Earth with nobody to stop them. Ziggy and Dylan go to rescue the real Dr. K, while the Super Mega Rangers have to deal with the Turbo Falcon Zord. Dylan rescues Dr. K while Ziggy creates a distraction for Venjix. While Venjix is distracted, Dr. K uninstalls the virus from the Turbo Falcon Zord and transfers Morphing Grid energy into the RPM keys to give the Turbo Falcon Zord the ability to combine with the legendary Megazord. Venjix uses the upgrades the Armada gave him to open a portal to the Super Mega Rangers dimension, and to reward the Super Mega Rangers, Dr. K transfers more Morphing Grid energy into the RPM keys, and the Rangers use the RPM keys, combined with the Turbo Falcon Zord, to create a portal back to their own dimension. The Rangers defeat the new Venjix body by doing a tribute morph to RPM. Yada yada yada, Megazord fight with the Turbo Falcon Zord, yada yada yada, Dr. K wishes the Super Mega Rangers good luck in their fight against the Armada, yada yada yada, you know the drill. And that completes part 4. Next time will be the final part of this series, where I finally fix the finale arc, and eventually I will finally put this project to rest. Stay tuned.